Yo.
You had a big old wavelength there.
Yeah.
You got that big wavelength energy.
I do.
Big wavelength energy.
Do we want a song? I feel like each time so far we were like soft and tanning young.
Yeah, we're gonna make a
and
song.
lovely.
From Ipanema goes walking, and when she walks on
Woo!
by, he doesn't see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bushwick Bears podcast.
Yeah.
Here we are. My name is Jericho Davidson. This is Boris Hyken. Over there is Derek Humphrey.
Yo.
Welcome. Here we are, episode 3. I think it's episode 3, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
sounding good. That was just a little of our interpretation of The Girl from Ipanema. I always thought that's a song. I always thought the language Portuguese, like when it's spoke, it always sounds like if you're speaking Spanish, but there's peanut butter on the roof of your mouth.
Oh,
That's what I always thought Portuguese sounded like. When
I've
I
been
heard
to
it.
Portugal. I didn't even notice that.
But
They're
when it's
close.
when it's sung, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very
I compare it to like Russian to Ukrainian. I mean, from my own perspective.
Okay.
Like I can understand Ukrainian sort of, but I can't speak it. And then once in a while, there's words where I'm like, "What? Oh, right, I'm not hearing Russian."
Yeah, right. Well, welcome. Here we are. That was a good song choice, Boris.
Thank you. It just came out of
Girl
me.
from Ipanema. It's
I don't know that one. So that's why I
Stan
didn't
Getz
chime in.
and
Astud Gilberto.
yeah,
I
it's a
believe.
great record. Great record. We're cultured here at the Bushwick
Look at
Bears.
that. Who would have thought
We know our things. We know
Again,
our-
I didn't know the song.
Our our bossa nova / jazz lingo is goes pretty deep. I do
Yeah.
love Brazilian music.
Oh, definitely.
I do
Little
Brazilian
like Sergio Mendes.
Oh yeah, it's great
That's
stuff.
good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Brazilian waxing.
I am. I enjoy it on myself.
There is something about because like Brazilian people, men and women in general, are fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Their steakhouses are good too.
Oh, I do love a Brazilian
Rodizio.
steakhouse.
Little
Yeah.
Rodizio.
What's it?
Portuguese too. They have. It's very similar.
Yeah.
They come around with
what's
the
one?
meats.
Oh, Texas de Brazil. I went there when I was in Vegas. That's
I don't
Well,
know what
isn't
that
it in
is.
That's a
Brazil
Brazilian
they
steakhouse.
speak
Oh.
Portuguese?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yes.
I am cultured.
You know it.
See?
I've only been to the only Central American, even or South American country I've ever been to is Honduras.
Honduras. It's an all right one.
Is
I was gonna say a good one, but
Yeah,
I
we went to
haven't
the
yet.
good part at one point, but for the most part, we even stayed in like one of their like nice hotels, and it was still surrounded by like armed guards.
I love Central America. Honduras has had some problems. over
Yeah.
the
I mean, a
years.
lot of Central
a
America
lot of
has.
them have, but
My brother's girlfriend is from Ecuador, so I've never
okay,
been
yeah.
to Central America, but I'm hoping to go with them once
Yeah.
the world stabilizes.
Oh,
Fuck
I
yeah.
even thought about it earlier today because we. The reason I even thought about it is my buddy and I, when we were there, we went to a casino.
oh yeah,
Yeah, late at night, and it was nothing but like Korean businessmen. It was
Isn't it?
crazy. And I never would have
My,
thought like anybody of those people would have been there.
my very first night in Costa Rica was so fucking wild because I
Heard that before.
We flew to Costa Rica. Our flight something was messed up on our flight, so we had to it got grounded, and then so we were really late. And I just assumed that every country except for the United States is like Vegas, like there are no laws and there are no rules. And so I just think that I always thought that's what I thought. We get to Costa Rica around 2 a.m. and everything's pretty much closed. You know what I mean?
oh
Like-
yeah, you would
like
think like
due
they would
to
have
the
like
law?
a bodega.
yeah,
open
yeah,
or
like they
something
just
that.
close at night. you
I
know?
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Well, I think because it's probably dangerous.
Right.
there.
Might not be
maybe.
safe to be wandering around.
But we figured it out. We met up with our one buddy that was there, and he took us to a place that like gave us booze after hours, and then we were just wiling out. And he was like, "Do you want to go to a strip club?" And I was with a bunch of my friends, and we had to be up at like 6 a.m. to leave in the morning to go to like the next town. And so right at the strip club, half my friends were like, "No, we're gonna go back to the room." So we already we cut in half, right? And all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, my nephew will drive us," because we were all so hammered. And all of a sudden, I'm not even exaggerating, like a 12-year-old rolls up in a Suburban or like some sort of SUV, rolls up and like, "Let's go, this is great." So and this kid is driving like crazy, like going so fast, dodging cars, and I'm like, this is so fun and terrifying. But we go to the strip club, that's great. After the strip club, he's like, "Well, do you want to go to like where the prostitutes are?"
Isn't that not the same place?
No, they're different. You know?
They really have a
different
firm
class of people.
divide
Yeah,
between the
yeah.
prostitutes and the strippers there.
And I was like, at this point, I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And at this point, like the other two guys I was with, they're like, nah, we're going back to our room.
Everybody drew their line somewhere.
Yeah.
And it
So-
was before Jericho.
So we show up to this place, and he goes, hey, we're going to go to this place. It's going to feel like a normal bar that's at a casino, but every girl that's in there is a prostitute. Other than that, it's normal. And I was like, okay, cool. So we show up to this casino, basically. Hang on. And it's like, oh, yeah, there are all these there are a lot of women in there. This is crazy. And you're like, oh, no. He's like, every single girl in here is a prostitute. And I was like, okay. And I was so fucking drunk. And he's like, I was like, that girl keeps looking at me. He's like, yeah, talk to her. She's definitely a prostitute. And I went and I tried to communicate with her in my broken Spanish. Turns out she was a prostitute.
Huh, surprised.
Oh, yeah.
And
So he wasn't lying.
no, he wasn't lying. So, but then I was like so naive to the world. I was like, okay, let's do this. I'm just going to have sex with this prostitute. And there's a hotel in this casino.
Why does that make you naive? I'm pretty sure that's
Well, no, that's
how
how
it
it
goes
works,
there.
yeah.
I'll tell you why the part that made me really feel naive and scared was
You thought she liked you?
no, I knew better than that. I just handed her I couldn't get the ATM to work. So I handed her my credit card.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And she did the transaction and pulled out a bunch of money. She took like half of it and gave me the other half back.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We go up to the room, and I try to make it work, but I can't.
Oh, like your boner.
My boner will not work. It's like
You're too drunk.
I'm way too drunk. It's like trying to put like a bag of like lukewarm Jello inside of a person.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen. So I'm like, we're out there trying to do the thing. Finally, I leave. She's a very sweet woman, a nice lady. Turns out she was from Nicaragua. I got that in the transaction. But I took off. I was like, I probably should go. My friends are going to leave me.
Yeah.
I go down to the casino bar, and they're like putting chairs on the bar. Everyone's gone.
Oh Jesus.
And I didn't have a cell phone or anything in Costa Rica. I was like, oh, no, this is so so I'm just like, oh, fuck. And I'm in San Jose, Costa Rica for the first time in my life. No cell phone. I just have a receipt. She pulled out 10,000 colones. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's more money than I had in my bank. I'm just trying to not freak out. And I'm just walking. And I was like, I think our room's that way. And I'm walking.
Wait, were
forever.
you with her at this point still? Or
No,
no,
I'm by myself.
She's back with the Sandinistas.
Yeah. And I'm in fucking San Jose, Costa Rica at probably 5 o'clock in the morning by myself, just walking down the street, lost, wasted. And all of a sudden, I saw a Church's Chicken. And I remember
They got Church's Chicken?
they had Church's Chicken there.
Wow, you like saw it's like a church in that sense.
It
You
was
like
it was like a beacon
a
of light because
mirage.
I remember our room was on the street with the Church's Chicken.
yeah.
I found a fucking hostel. I was like, I was so happy to be, and I literally like laid down, and as soon as I shut my eyes, my friend was like grabbing my foot, like, all right, it's time to go.
Damn.
So we got up and left.
Well, that could have
like
been
you had to leave, like to
We
go
had to
home?
we had to catch like a train to go to like the next town.
Oh, okay.
that could have ended worse. I'd say you did all right.
Yeah,
I
you
did
did
all right.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
did all right.
Like you could have, had your
There's
kidney
everything.
cut out.
Well, then I remember the first thing I asked my friend Ian. I go, Ian, how much is 10,000 colones? And he's like, it's like $300.
Yeah, I was
And I
gonna
was
say
like,
that's not
oh.
that bad. Yeah.
I was like so nervous that it was all my money in the world.
Right.
You know?
Oh, I got off when I was in Honduras, I didn't know how the exchange rate worked either, and I got off the plane. I exchanged a bunch of cash.
Were you just traveling, or was it with the military?
No, I was just traveling, and I went to go get in a car to have it take me to this place to go meet my friends who were already there. And I handed this guy, like the guy who was arranging the car service or whatever, I handed him like a $5, and he just looked at it and gave it to all the kids who were like begging for money or whatever, because it was worth like nothing.
Oh, no.
And I had no idea. Like,
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, well, this is $5, whatever your dollars are. This guy, why would you put it in paper form? It's not worth anything, But it's not his fault that their money sucks.
Right.
It's definitely
So,
not his fault.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so funny because I remember that same trip. I think it was that same trip. It was somewhere in Central America. It might have been a different trip, but one of the countries I was in, they had like $2 coins, like that up to $2 coins. So a
Right.
lot of places still, you all end up walking around with a bunch of change all the time. Right? This was definitely in Costa Rica still. I remember this story. And we were
Uh-oh. For any listeners, that's
Uh-oh.
not coronavirus.
Is that the Corona? Is that the Rona?
I
We made it 6 months with no Rona.
know, and everybody's watching the video like they ain't wearing masks
know,
on
right?
here.
Well, if they're watching the video, they saw me hit a vape.
You hit the vape.
So, yeah.
Well, you got
But
that
what they
Chinese
can't see
oil.
is we got a beautiful window open with a nice breeze going on.
It is a nice breeze, a nice day. It's finally
I'm still
nice
hot
in
as
New York.
shit.
I know, I'm pretty
I'm
hot
like,
too.
I'm very hot. We need a studio.
It's warm.
I would say that you're an attractive man.
I mean, what we
Thank
need to
you.
do,
Hot.
what I can try to do in the future is just run the AC in here real hard, so and then we take like a break halfway through and then run it again so that it doesn't get, because it really does get kind of like I start feeling warm, and then if I start being self-conscious about the coronavirus stuff, I'm like, oh God, am I like contracting it in the middle of this podcast?
That, and I wore pants today because like I didn't want to be on video again with like a camera pointed up my fucking crotch.
Not me. I'm all for it. Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at those
baby.
gams.
I know you're fine. I mean, you're comfortable with yourself.
I'm
I'm not comfortable looking.
You
terrible.
put on shorts for the camera.
I did.
Could've
Yes,
been.
I was walking down the street in this exact same outfit yesterday, and a group of like, late middle 20s black dudes pulled up on the crosswalk next to me, and the guy just goes, "Fucking pansy." He called me a fucking pansy.
That's awesome.
I just thought it was so funny.
That guy rules.
I was like, well, I am wearing shorts and a tie-dye tank top.
I miss people openly giving you criticism. I was since I moved to Queens, everybody's like really nice. It's like I don't know. It's very quiet
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
where I am. I miss Flatbush where people would just straight up tell you what they thought.
Just
It's
talk
nice
shit
to
you.
make, honestly, the core reason I started working out is when my first year in college, my ex-girlfriend from high school, I invited to come visit, and I wanted to feel like the cool kid, like I'm in college. It's my ex-girlfriend, but like, yeah, who knows, I'm going to invite her. I invite her, I'm walking down the street, and this dude in front of a frat house with like all his frat friends, I'm walking in a wife beater, and he just goes, "Hey, yo, you little as hell." And they all started laughing at me, and my ex-girlfriend started laughing at me, and just deep-seated in my psychology, it's just in there now, and it's kept me in shape and going to the gym ever since.
One time
little as hell.
I got off the train in Flatbush, and it was like 4 a.m, and I'm walking back to my place, and there's a whole group of teenagers, and they're like kind of walking. I catch up next to them, and I pass them, and then you hear one of them go, "Motherfucker looks like Mr. Incredible." And I look down, and I'm like, that's actually pretty accurate.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas at a group of dudes one time. He goes, "Oh man, you look like a left tackle." And I go, "I was a left tackle." Like
Hell
playing
yeah.
Is that football? You're gonna have to
Football, yeah.
specify the
That's
sport
a
for
football
me.
thing. Yeah, I don't know the girl from
We're not talking about
Indiana, but I know.
fishing. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always grateful when it's coming from like a spirit of fun.
Yeah.
Even this one threw me off in two ways. When I first got to New York, I fell asleep waiting for the L train,
Yeah.
and some kid jumped down on First Ave, jumped down from the other side, ran across the
Oh, yeah,
rails,
yeah.
climbed up, and slapped me awake. And I caught my train thanks to him. His friends started laughing. He ran back to the other side. And not only did I catch my train thanks to him, but I just got into New York, and I thought it was like not normal, but like not that crazy what he did. Like I just thought like, oh, he did it, must not be that crazy. And then one time I was riding like the R or something, and I missed my stop, and I got off at a stop. And again, I'm like relatively new to New York still at this point, and there was no way without coming out of the train to get to the other side. And I fucking jumped down into the tracks and ran across to the other side. And then, like, I told that to a couple people and realized how fucking crazy that is
Yeah.
afterwards. I don't even
Isn't
know
it
the
if
ticket you
just
would
even
get.
graze the third rail, like you'll die.
That's what they say. I don't know. Just from a electronics standpoint, it goes to the path of least resistance. So I would guess that you'd have to be touching the third rail and a
Be
ground
incredibly
ground
lazy.
wire, like the same way that like you'll notice like pigeons on open power lines, they're fine unless they touch, and you have to close a circuit, and it has to you have to be less resistance than the alternate path of travel for the electricity.
Right.
If somebody's an engineer and listening, feel free to correct me
Yeah,
on
feel
Twitter.
free to let us know at Bushwick Bears on Twitter. I just have never even tempted fate by climbing down there. Like I haven't dropped anything worthwhile, so it's not.
I haven't since. I just didn't know it was. I thought it was like, it's
I think you could
it's
do.
New York, like if you
Yeah.
drop something, go get it. Whatever, I didn't think it was normal, but I didn't think it was as looked down upon as it
I've
should be.
peed in between cars.
Oh yeah, I've done that while it's
Yeah.
going.
While it's going.
I've
yeah,
not
yeah,
done
yeah.
that one.
I haven't done the one where this guy did it on the train last week on the 7 train. He just he was in the very back. He pulled out a bag. He rolled up a blunt, and then he walked in between the cars and smoked it.
Respect.
Yeah, I've seen people smoke before, but this guy just was just.
Well, if he went in
He gave
between
0
trains,
fucks.
I'm on his team
Right,
because
me
I've
too.
seen people fucking light up on
in
the
the-
in
Oh, I
there.
still haven't seen that yet.
Oh,
Oh,
I've seen it,
dude,
yeah.
I've seen it like crust punks mostly lighting up cigarettes. Where there was a guy I remember that like.
I would kick a crust punk in his head.
Yeah, I
Like, I
saw a
hate
dude
that.
show massive restraint in it, and it was just one of those situations where, if you start shit, it's just gonna delay everybody on the train. But at
Yeah,
the same
right.
time, like this motherfucker, like it pains you to see him get away with just being so apathetic to everybody. Like if
Right.
there's a pregnant woman on there, like, it's
Yeah,
I don't
an
need to
older person
explain
and
why it's
whatnot.
fucking
Yeah.
disgusting behavior.
Yeah, I mean it's not like vaping, which is perfectly fine everywhere.
I do it on the platform.
Or
yeah, I
if you
vape.
walk to the end of the platform, who cares? It doesn't even
Yeah,
matter.
actually, I wouldn't even if it's an open.
I
air
might even light up
platform-
a joint on the platform. Right?
If it's an open air platform, you can do whatever you want.
If
No,
it's not crowded,
I saw this older woman. You could tell she'd just been in New York too long. The dude was just wasted, but he lit up his cigarette on the train,
Yeah.
and she walked up with the next stop. She walked up to him, grabbed it out of his mouth, and threw it out.
Love it.
And then went and sat back down. She didn't even yell at him.
Love it.
She grabbed it. She snatched it straight out of his mouth and threw it out the door, and then went and sat back down. She was still looking at him like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
Right,
And
yeah.
he was just like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
He was gone. Out
No,
of his
of course.
mind,
I love that kind of confidence out of like a little old lady or whatever.
but- right?
I went to Catholic school, and in freshman year we had this one sister. She substitute taught in just one of my classes.
Yeah.
Right, and she looked like E.T. She was old and frail.
I know
And-
exactly the type of old lady you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about.
Especially because she was a nun. She had to wear like the whole headdress and everything. And I was always like, I wouldn't shut up or whatever. And then one time, she just like substitute taught my class, and I was trying to make like a joke or something like that. And she just put up her hand like that and goes, and that was it. That was the end of it. And even I was like, I knew better.
She
than to,
just
like,
fucking like the forced. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, no, it
They
was
were
a thing
taught.
where like, I mean, because she did it in the moment where it was funnier than whatever dumb shit I was saying as a
Right.
14-year-old.
Right.
That everybody in the class like turned against me, and that was the whole reason I was making jokes in the first place, was to get people to like me.
Right.
And so if they're all against me, I was like, well, she won.
Yeah, it's true. It's good when the teacher. I had a teacher that I'm still like buddies with on Facebook. I haven't talked to in a while, but I
Dork. Friends with your teacher.
I fell asleep, and I didn't used to fall asleep in class. I think it was maybe when I started smoking weed or something. But I fell asleep like pretty hard in his class, and when the bell rang, he managed to like get the whole class to really quietly leave and told the teacher afterwards. So I fell asleep and woke up in an entirely different class. And he like
oh yeah, I've
pranked
had
me.
that happen before. Yeah, that's
It was
fucking
good. I was like,
hilarious.
touche, you win this round.
It's like we're from like a different time. Like I don't think the shit teachers got away with.
It'd be like
back
abusive
then.
now,
I remember,
which it isn't, but you know.
My junior high principal, he died recently. It's the only person I've ever like been happy about seeing die. Because speaking of getting away with shit, he got away with raping kids.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
the Catholic
yeah.
school.
Yeah. And so, this was a
Brutal.
public school.
Wow.
He was in a Catholic school. He was in the school called Central Catholic and in Toledo. And like a lot of my family went to that. I went to that eventually. And that was the one where like, we knew the most people. Well, he was abusing boys there for years. And then when he finally got like found out, they just put him, instead of like having him in private Toledo public schools or Toledo schools, they put him in public Toledo schools. And so he was my
That's
dean
crazy.
or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, there's a whole documentary about it. I talk about it in my act or whatever, but who cares? But like called Twist of Faith on HBO, and it's all about him. So if you have HBO Max, it's on there. If you want to watch, a guy who should have, That's like, that's my jokes, like how unattractive I am as a kid.
That he didn't.
Yeah, he never
got you.
He tried to corner me a couple of times, but it was more because I would do this thing. I was such a bad kid. I would like swear at him. Like he would walk through the lunchroom or whatever. I'd be like, "What's up, you dumb motherfucker?" or whatever, just to like, and just enough within earshot that if he looked over and thought he heard it, I'd be like, "I didn't."
Turn around yourself. Look who said that.
Did you hear something? Oh, and then we would just like do mean shit or throw Skittles at him or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he gave me a bad vibe and I never knew why. And now I know it's because he didn't find me attractive.
I went through like 3 phases like that where I was like a little shit in high school and did all this stuff and would have issues with teachers. And then like years later, I was like, man, I was such an asshole. And then a couple years after that, I like ran into some of the teachers in places or heard about them from other people. And I'm like, oh, you know what? My instinct was actually right with some of these assholes. Like, I actually knew more than I gave myself credit for. And some of them kind of deserve to get shit.
Yeah, I was a real, I can say this because I was called it as a kid, but I was a real faggot in high school, like early high school and junior high, and like around puberty
were you just
times.
giving
HJs or
HJs or what?
Oh no, not like in that sense. But everybody.
You
just
mean
said,
in like the colloquial derogatory?
Yeah, the colloquial
sense.
derogatory. Yeah, I wasn't giving anybody hand jobs, but like, no, that's what you used to call everybody back in the 80s and 90s. Instead of
true,
like,
kids said it willy nilly.
Instead of like, I don't know what you would call a kid nowadays. Like, hey, you.
Whatever it is, I'm sure somebody's yelled it at us and we didn't even realize we were being insulted.
I probably said thank you.
Yeah, some hip middle schooler just like zinged us.
Oh man, there's nothing worse in the world. Walking down the street and coming up on a group of unchecked teenagers.
That's the scariest demographic in the world.
Yeah.
It's just teenagers.
Oh yeah, there are those kids the other day. They were actually like pretty nice. I was surprised by how nice they were when we were doing that. We were shooting that sketch.
Yeah.
We were over by the basketball court and they like stopped or whatever, and like they were actually like, I thought, way cooler than what most kids are.
Well, also they were like doing a productive activity outside, whereas if you were like in the weird corner of the mall parking lot or like, some place where they're up to no good, or at least where we were up to no good when I was that age.
They made those Series 5 Jordan reissues, and those were the ones from when I was a kid, so I bought them, because I could never afford them when I was a kid, and I was like so happy about them. And I went to like the bodega, and there were all these high school kids there, and one of them had the same Jordans on as I did. And I was like, nice shoes. And he just was like, gave me this like dirty look.
Ew.
And I was like, oh yeah, why am I communicating with these teenagers? There's nothing good that can come out of this.
Yeah. To go back to your molester teacher story, I can't remember if I ever told you guys about this, but like,
teacher.
I benefited greatly from a molester teacher. I got my first job. So
I think I say you lost your virginity.
I was like already playing guitar for a couple years, but I didn't know any music theory. And my buddy recommended I go to this school where like he went. And by the time I went there, he was no longer there. And they changed teachers like 3 or 4. Like they had trouble hanging on to guitar teachers. They didn't really give a shit. It was like the head of the school was this Russian woman, and her husband was like a master violinist, and he was the main violin teacher. They kind of didn't care that much about like any other department. And so they like changed guitar teachers a bunch of times, and then they finally got this guy who like looked like Gene Wilder, who was like a little bit weird, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And they had a recital, and I was like way ahead of everybody at the recital. And then a week later, this Russian administrator calls me, and she's like, I was like 16, I think, maybe even 15. She's like, can you substitute teach this Sunday for like this amount of hours for like $20 an hour or something? Like a lot back then for a 15, 16-year-old. Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't know what happened yet. And so the next day or like the next week, she asked me to do it again. And then I find out in the papers that the existing teacher got arrested for molesting a student. And what actually happened was he he was a little bit weird. I remember would maybe correct my posture or something by maybe but with this girl, apparently he was doing that, and she told her mom. The mom asked to sit in on a class, and in the class, in front of the mom, that when she sat in on, he bought her a tank top as a gift and asked her to try it on while he turns around and faces the wall in front of the mom. And the mom grabbed her daughter and stormed out and called the cops and filed charges. And it turned out that, I read in the papers, weeks later, that he apparently had a history and taught piano at another school and did the same thing.
Oh, Jesus.
And had gotten in trouble before.
He bought a tank top for another girl.
Well, I don't know if it was that exact.
I thought this tank top would look really good on you. Why don't you put it on right now? I won't look, I promise.
I mean, literally that. But thanks to this dude, I taught there for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
I was never qualified. I learned theory the day before having to teach it to somebody because I knew I was better than most of the students. And it was adults. There were adults who took lessons too. And I was irresponsible. Again, I was 16.
Did you get fired for buying a kid a tank top?
I never got fired. I quit. I took it so for granted because I did it even after going to college, because by the time that I was quitting, I was making $26 an hour, I think.
Oh, wow.
Which, again, is still and she loved me because I made her first website also when I was taking lessons there. That was another thing I remembered as I first started doing GeoCities websites, when it was first a thing. And so I really won favor with her, and I was just not quitting, which they had guitar teachers coming in that were burnouts from New York and good guitar players.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't fucking know. I was 16, but I would forget about lessons and then pretend that there was oh no, we weren't on the same page, when I literally just didn't show up, or get super drunk and show up hungover. I threw up in the back once, in between classes. I was that
Sounds like
fucked up.
every guitar teacher I ever had.
But well, I guess I did it right then. They gave me the keys to the place. I would bring my girlfriend in high school at the time there, and we'd have sex on the carpet, because it was, I had keys to a place, my own, when nobody else was there.
Carpeted.
I literally, just because I saw it in movies, sat on a Xerox and photocopied my genitals and my asshole. And I carried around, and then what do I do with that, right? And I carried around photocopies of my junk in my car for a long time, because I was what do I do with this? I don't. And then eventually I must have burned it or threw it in the garbage or something, but just because I thought this is fun. I'm mischievous.
I would love to substitute teach kids nowadays.
What would you teach them?
Life. I'm hey,
scared straight from.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
kids. It gets worse.
Yeah, I know. That's it's. I hate it when adults tell kids some dumbass shit of oh, it gets better. And it's no, it doesn't. You just learn to accept your failures. You're you're a fucking loser, Erica. And you being a kid's awesome. You don't have any fucking you have rules, but you don't have any responsibilities. And you have all this energy. It's
you can't even really get hurt.
That's one for sure. You're pretty impervious. I mean, relatively.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I have a basketball court across the street from my apartment now, and I watch the kids out there playing basketball, and they're running hard, and I'll go out there and be you know what, I could probably fucking still play or whatever. And I'm I can't run.
Just winded very quickly.
It's not even it hurts to run. It hurts my knees and it hurts my feet.
Joints.
Yeah, it's I'm not built to run. I've been walking to try and get my body to build it back up to.
I'll juxtapose though with a positive message. I do think a bunch of stuff does a lot, not to be cliche along those lines, but I just I enjoyed life even when I first got out of college and I had a shitty sales job and I was just starting to try to do comedy. I was making no money. I was just new to the city. I just remember those first couple of years loving it so much more than college. I just felt I was on my own. I felt I could actually save money.
I would never go back.
I just felt I started mastering being me, you know, where I was just so in my head for so much of even still through college. I mean, even still after college, it's always a battle.
Yeah, I mean
but it gets better.
Yeah, it depends. I
Maybe
don't know.
not physically,
well,
but mentally.
You know what though? Because I wax nostalgic about the kids I grew up with, and I don't even like a lot of them, and I hate the place I'm from, but they were actually progressive for
the time.
Inadvertently progressive. Because I remember we had we had a couple of kids who came out gay young and early, 8th grade, and nobody made fun of them.
Yeah.
I mean and if you did make fun of them, one of the other kids who was actually probably like closer to a jock or whatever would probably kick your fucking ass.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
yeah, and everybody, like when I was in 7th grade, you know, everybody was into Nirvana and shit, and it was like, and by in like 8th, 9th grade, everybody started getting Rage Against the Machine, and very much like the you know, for not having the internet, not having all the quote unquote answers available to you, like immediately, to be able to think differently and seek out like that, right? So anyway, so I wax nostalgic every now and again. I posted something about it, and I was like, because like I was like, you guys are cool, but some of your kids are fucking assholes, you know, because like people I went to high school with are old, and they're 42, and some of them have kids who are like teenagers or whatever. You know what I mean?
That makes
or
sense.
Like, yeah. And they're dumb, and they just like say all the same like dumb hackney shit online that
Are you
every kid's
Facebook
ironic
friends
now.
with
No.
their children?
Oh no, they'll share like, no, they're on Twitter, and they're like, you know, and they'll follow me or whatever, and I follow them back out of courtesy, and I read it, and I'm like, you're a fucking moron.
You follow your friends' children back on Twitter?
I follow everybody who follows me. And yeah, I follow everybody who follows me just instinctively, and then I'll go through and I'll read it, and I'm like, oh, unfollow.
Well, that's good. You have to like lose your respects rather than gain it. That's a nice.
Well, no, it's
approach.
just also too. I'm like, well, now that I know who this person is, I don't need to hear from them. But anyways, and so like one girl, she commented on it, and I didn't recognize the name, and she wasn't a friend of mine or whatever, and she was like, oh, like. You seem to have different memories of growing up and whatnot from than I did or whatever. And I looked at it, and I looked at her. She had a different name than what I recognized. I looked at her profile, and I was like, I messaged her. I was like, hey, are you such and such person? Like, I think you're this kid that I grew up around. A girl that like I felt very bad for, especially the older that we got, who got like bullied and harassed or whatever, you know, and badly. And then she kind of messaged me back and was like, yeah, you are a fucking dick, these people are dicks. And I went to go write her a note to be like, hey, listen, I'm so sorry that like, you know, I was a dick when I was a kid. I was going through my own like problems and whatnot, you know, and she had blocked me. Right on. She had blocked me.
I mean, she might not need to revisit it. Like that's more for you than for her.
I don't know her like that. She's not my Facebook friend. She saw me out, commented on my thing. I wrote to her to be like, hey, how's it going? She was like, and like, hey, listen, like, is this you? Because if so, I'd like to extend an apology or whatever.
Right.
And then she was talking about, well, my life's just only gotten worse. My mom's a piece of shit. And like, I have all these student loans. I'm like, well, I'm not responsible for that shit.
Right.
That's your fucking problem.
I mean, you got your own world at that point.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, and then, you know, it's like, what do you think? My life got infinitely better after I was a dipshit in high school?
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing all right compared to.
No, I mean, yeah, like finally now at 42, but like, you know, I had a lot of like bad years in my 20s and whatnot. Like the time after high school and when I was supposed to be in college, up until like the part where I joined the Navy, things were like not great.
Right.
Right. And so, and things also weren't great for me in my home. It's just that the kids I got bullied by were like so fucking tough that nobody was going to stand up to them.
Yeah.
You know, and I also just didn't, and bullying is a trickle down economic. So like it happened to me, it happens to somebody else.
Oh yeah,
that
for
person
sure.
does it to somebody else. And so it's just like, what do you want me to do? It's a systemic issue.
You can't hold the individuals accountable.
And I wasn't trained on de-escalation.
Yeah, I definitely like passed down bullying. I think I was like relatively nice, but yeah, I definitely processed someone bullying me by probably like trying to make fun of somebody else, or at least as a defense mechanism. I definitely made fun of people.
Did you guys fight a lot when you were young?
Yeah.
No, I was like a little pussy. I've basically never been in fights, period, up till now.
No, I did. My mom, I was in karate, and my mom took me out when I started beating everybody up.
I'm naturally just piling through everybody.
Well,
they're like doing proper punches, and you're just like, bam.
No, it'd just be the kids in the neighborhood. Like, I'd learn how to like throw a better punch and whatnot, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go fuck with this kid now or whatever. Start fights. Even, I mean, with kids my own size or whatever. But she should have let me keep doing it until I got beat up by a bigger kid and then would be motivated to go learn more karate.
Get
Yeah.
better, yeah.
But my mom was a single mom and my dad was into heroin. So like I didn't have that. Nobody came up with that idea.
Right.
you know?
I took karate at the Black Cultural Community Center in my town. And the one thing I remember that was funny is on the walls they had photos of like different like black people in history and things like that. And I'm not saying African American intentionally because it was black people not just from America, from around the world. And the one that sticks in my mind was they had a photo of Alexander Pushkin, who's a Russian poet. And I just remember my parents finding it so hilarious because he had like a great grandfather who was like black.
Yeah.
And but they were like putting him like primary on the wall, like one of the great black people of the world. And my parents were like, "What?"
That's like a great blaxploitation film of like a young Jewish kid going to learn karate from an African American, or excuse me, a black cultural arts center. That's like, I mean, I can hear the music in my head already. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, the instructor's like, he's like, his nickname is the Black Dragon. Or whatever.
right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's specifically like karate in the style of like black karate movies, for like that kind of
Oh
like.
yeah, absolutely. He has a giant afro.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in the class has like an afro.
He keeps like picks that are also throwing stars in it.
Leroy Jones, the Black Dragon, in. You know?
His nunchucks have the black power fist at the end.
And it's me
like
like
Panthro.
and it's me like little Ukrainian boy coming in.
Dude, we got to make that movie.
It was like the friendship that no one expected.
Yeah.
I think that's the movie.
I'm not going to give up on you, kid.
I think that's the movie that Bushwick Bears need to make.
Right.
Is like we need to make a bad movie and then just tour it around the country.
It was ironic, everybody.
Yeah, like a funny bad movie. I mean, not bad in the sense of like early Kevin Smith. Like not like a low budget, like not in
Karate. I'm all
like
for
it's
it.
dialogue fucking driven, obviously.
And anytime there's a young boy and a father figure, oh man, it always pulls on my heartstrings. You know?
Right? Yeah.
Like the classic. I always think of what was it Over the
We're
Top
talking
Land?
about Over the Top.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Love it.
Never seen it.
Oh man, it's Sylvester
know.
Stallone arm wrestling for the custody of his child, basically.
Driving
Oh,
across
that's
the
amazing.
country and doing arm wrestling competitions to get enough money to get his son back.
Yeah, it's,
I know he has to turn his hat backwards to arm wrestle.
I just
yeah,
did that
it's
scene.
amazing.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry.
But so yeah, we took a little break. I took a shit, and that's what reminded me of this. Honestly, it was
Okay.
like it was a big one, and it was fine, like relatively healthy. But it did remind me of something that could have led to unhealthy shits, which is that you guys know I love Costco.
Yeah.
Would never normally just talk shit on them outright, and even in the context of this, you know, it happens. I've been going there for years, but we got pork ribs there, and Megan even noticed when I opened them up there was like kind of an off smell to it, which I kind of just dismissed, but then she mentioned it afterwards, and then we cooked them, and she said they tasted weird. I still was kind of like, you know what, this is not bad. And I ate my whole portion. I think she ate hers too. Honestly,
You cooked out the bad parts.
that's the thing, is that like if you
Yeah.
cook it enough, but here's the kicker. So it's like we got a big package. Obviously, it's Costco. I took 2/3 of it, put it in the freezer. The rest of it I cooked, and so then our plates, you know, the bones and whatever, maybe some meat that was left on there, were tossed in the garbage. And the next morning there were maggots, like
Yeah.
a pretty good amount
Brutal.
going on.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, I called Costco. They gave me they were like, come in next time, telling me talk to Sammy. They'll give you a refund. But you know, could have been bad.
Ooh.
And I'm not. I obviously just out of principle, you know, don't want to buy bad meat. But I will
No.
say that I don't know that I've ever had food poisoning. I mean, you guys know I have a third world immune system.
Yeah, you're tough. You got.
I got I just literally everywhere I go, I've gone to like India with my friend whose family's from there, and like everybody, here's the two rules they tell you. First, they're like, don't eat street meat, right?
Yeah.
And then of course I'm gonna eat street meat.
Yeah, of course.
But they're like, don't eat street meat. But if you do eat street meat, eat the cooked street meat.
Yeah.
Don't get like fruit and vegetable shakes, because over there, like depending on where you are, like no xenophobia, but just reality. They're like fucking wiping their ass and then not washing their hands and then handling fruit
Yeah, that's why you don't shake
potentially.
hands over there either.
Well, so I ended up getting fruit and vegetable shakes because it's like 25 cents for a fucking fruit smoothie that you'd pay $12 for in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I got one, then I was okay. I got two, then I got a bunch, and guess what? Literally, I went with 3 friends. All 3 of them got food poisoning and got sick by the time we were on the plane home. I was totally fine.
When
went-
I was sorry.
I was just one other example. We went to Mexico. Same thing. We went to Tulum, and I was the only one who used the faucet water to brush my teeth. I didn't even realize like anybody was not doing that. And then they were like, "You what?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then again, all 3 or no, more than 3. It was like. Now my wife, she at the time, I don't remember if we were engaged yet. I think she was my girlfriend at the time. But her and like 2 of our other friends, like they all fucking got sick, and I was fine. I'm grateful for it.
I feel like I always have an iron stomach because I've been such a booze hound for so many years.
That the alcohol
Like
just
killed it, yeah.
kills it off.
I'll eat anything and be fine.
See,
Yeah.
like gross stuff, I can't do it. I have a really bad gag reflex, and then I mean like. Even hot stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
I've learned. My wife has taught me that I'm a bad traveler, and if she
She
didn't
taught
encourage
you
me-
that you suck.
By touch,
Yeah.
she just
My wife
screams
taught
and
me
yells
that
at
I'm
you.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, because like when we talk about going on vacations, I'm like, I definitely like prefer going to nice countries where stuff is like
Right.
up to snuff.
Yeah.
Like I've been to Europe a couple of times, and it's been awesome. And I'd like to go back in a capacity that wasn't administered by the government. And she's just like, why you want to go back? Let's go somewhere adventurous. And I was like, it's adventurous for me to be in France. It's also relaxing as shit, and the food is like really good. And
Right.
it's like, why do like she travels every summer. Last summer she went to, or 2 summers ago she went to like Indonesia and China and all that, or like I don't know, Asia, whatever. And she's complaining the whole time about certain stuff or whatever, how muddy she would get and how dirty and everything. I was like, that's why I just want to sit in a
Right.
La Pierre bathtub.
I think it's just like I like it depends on what I'm setting myself up for. If I know I'm going to like somewhere that's maybe not quite first world or whatever, like I know what I'm expecting. But then I also do like going like when we went on our honeymoon or something, like we know we're gonna stay at hotels. We're not gonna like fuck around and just randomly like take trains backpacking the way I would if I was like with one of my buddies or
Yeah, right.
even my wife is down for that too. But just like you set your expectations, you know.
I love all of it. I love traveling anyway. I remember we were in London and we were playing at the Camden Market, like a venue that was near the Camden Market. And the Camden Market's like a world market in London. It's dope. It's awesome. But all the locals were like, don't eat there. Best meal I had the entire time I was in England.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Was
Well,
in-
that doesn't
well,
say a lot. It's British food, you know. The
Mhm.
standard is.
Well, no, they're like, yeah, don't eat at the Camden Market. You'll get sick. And I got some curried goat or something, and it was
mean,
delicious.
I can go travel to some sort of thing like that. I've done it before in my life, and that's why I don't want to. Unless it's like, you're right, I have to be like mentally prepared for it.
Yeah, I like going wherever, but just your behavior is different. You know, like certain places you go, and if you behave the way that you'd go if you were going to like a resort somewhere, you're just gonna get robbed. You know, and then other places. I mean, that's just you got to be smart about it. And then other places, if you're going somewhere nice, obviously you're just like. You're packing differently. Or like I remember when we went to India, like I'd backpacked Europe before with my friends. Like I'll carry a fucking bag and I'll walk around. And my buddy whose family is from there was just like, we're going to get off the flight and someone's going to carry your bag. I'm like, I don't need somebody. Listen, let them carry your fucking bag and give them $1. You don't need to carry your bag. This is how they earn a living. I'm like, oh, I see. This is different. It's like, even if you don't want to be pampered and if you're in this environment, it's like, no, hire this person to carry your bag. It'll be easier for you. The $1 is not a lot to you. It's a lot to them. And this is how the economy functions.
I mainly just want to go back to France to find my son.
You have an illegitimate son rocking around in France.
So Boris and I are both pretty big dorks for Tool, and the band.
I'm honestly not
penis.
that as big of a dork.
I am, for
I
sure.
like them. Yeah, I think you're more of a fan. I've seen them live a couple times. I like them a lot,
Oh, I
but
say
I'm
live
not
more than
like
anybody.
deeply
Well, way to
knowledgeable. You know.
Take the thunder from what I'm about to say.
Well, just
So-
say, get in there.
Well, speak for yourself.
No,
with
I'm
your
just
thunder.
kidding. But
No, we saw Tool together, so it was a
yeah,
fair
no,
assumption.
I'm not quite Rory Scovel level, but I've come to admit as an adult, this is like, oh, this is my Grateful Dead. this is the band that I really like of this particular thing that has this kind of fan base and like
Yeah.
or whatever.
I have other bands I'm that more than Tool.
I mean, I guess the only other ones I would say, this is how old I am, that I would feel that way about would be like Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, but they don't tour.
They don't tour.
They don't make contemporary music. Or
As far as like
music
many
like that.
concerts, I've seen like Parliament more than almost anybody else probably.
Oh,
And now Wolfpack I've gotten into.
Oh, they're pretty cool. But I miss going to see live music, and I wish I could do it more. But like,
Yeah.
anyway, so the drummer from Tool was also the drummer for
Perfect Circle.
Jeff Buckley.
Oh, isn't he also Perfect Circle?
Jeff
No,
Buckley's
that's
dead.
a singer.
Singer. Yeah.
He
See,
put out
it's a good thing I didn't pretend to be.
So, anyways,
What
a
was it?
roundabout way of I was at. My wife listens to stuff I listened to in the late '90s and early 2000s,
Like music wise?
yeah, like Elliott Smith and like I don't know, when I was like young and altruistic and thought I could be like a poet.
Yeah,
Or some
okay.
kind of,
Or
like-
thought you could use that to try to sleep with women.
Or it was I was a young romantic idealist, and I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
women are romantic. Now I know
And so,
they're
yeah, you,
Women like
now I
this
know they're
shit.
just trash.
so you like Jeff Buckley.
So I like Jeff
I like
Buckley.
Jeff Buckley too. don't
Yeah. And so, anyways, I make my wife listen to Tool, and I was like, I think you'd like Jeff Buckley.
Jeff
and,
Buckley did that Hallelujah cover?
you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And
That's what
then
it
he
is.
started popping up on her Spotify, and I was
And then he
like,
died young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the guy.
and he kept popping up on her Spotify, and I was like, oh, this is Jeff Buckley. And she's like, oh, I guess Jeff Buckley, like Spotify wants me to like him for whatever reason. She's like, why do you like him so much? And I was like, well, I really liked him a lot as a kid. Then when I was in France, I happened to buy like a live bootleg CD of Jeff Buckley in France. And I went out with my friends, and then I met this beautiful girl that I like really hit it off with. And she mentioned during our talk at the bar that she was a big Jeff Buckley fan. And I just had it on me, and so I gave it to her. And that's how I might have a kid in France.
What?
Oh, man.
Oh my God. No space on the memory card.
All right.
Guys, I'm sorry. This is fucking amateur out here. We're back.
Are we back? All right.
So here, let me say this. So you gave this girl your bootleg Jeff Buckley CD, and you had
Yeah.
And it worked, if you know what we're saying.
So you had sex with her.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a simpleton.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's
Wait,
not,
well, we weren't recording during that period where after you said, and that's why I might have a child somewhere in France,
Right.
Jericho's like, and did you have sex with her? Like,
Yeah.
and that's how babies are made when one person gives a Jeff Buckley CD to another
I mean, it
person.
was a live bootleg Jeff Buckley CD.
Right. It was just we were having. I mean, a lot of it was my enthusiasm for sure, but we were hitting it off, and to the point where me and my buddy, we met these girls and we hung out with these girls for like, we ended up being in France for like 10 days.
Oh, you stayed longer.
We
to
stayed.
hang out with her.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had sex with her more than once.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
the thing
interesting.
was
Plot thickens.
And at that age, once is all it takes, you know?
yeah, when you're that
It's
virile.
not the same as trying to get pregnant in your mid to late 30s.
Yeah, so we ended up getting kind of stuck in France for a while, which I loved. But here's the thing: is we met them towards the end, so it wasn't like we were with them for the whole 10 days, but it was enough time for me to like for these girls. These girls were basically like, "Why don't you just stay here?" And we'll take care of you, and we go to school. We'll cook and clean for you and stuff like that, and we'll
Damn.
figure something out or whatever.
Just domesticated right
yeah,
up.
I mean, like in France, women know how to be women, and so
Burn.
and unlike these American pigs, I'm just kidding. Anyways, no, but I mean, it was just like it was semi-serious, but also like, wow, it'd be crazy to do that sort of thing. So me and my buddy Mike Bonjourno, that's his real name.
That's hilarious.
We talked to these guys.
Is
about,
he French?
No, he's very American. He's
Like of French descendants or
no Italian.
Buongiorno? Oh, right.
Yeah.
That is Italian. Isn't
So,
it?
but he doesn't look like a typical. He doesn't look.
Wait,
like,
is it? That sounds so familiar. Is that French or Italian? Buongiorno. It means hello, right?
Yeah. Bonjourno is Italian.
Italian. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for derailing my story.
I just had to check.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you were hanging out with these chicks.
I hate this.
I mean, you didn't have to tell us his name. You're not going to just throw out Mike Bonjourno, expect us to just move on with
I
your
know, but I would
story.
expect, and that's
So
why-
as an aside, my buddy Mike Bonjourno.
but I would expect you to at least not get caught up in not your own lack of knowledge, your own unworldliness as to how to determine what region.
I can't tell French from Italian unless I,
I mean,
smell them.
Just watch Inglourious Bastards, and you'll see the guys be like, Bonjourno.
Right.
you know?
Well, now it feels silly, but at the time, it wasn't at the top of my mind,
Oh
you know?
my God, no.
Did you have a
No,
story?
your neighbor across the street is wearing a mask in his own kitchen.
Good for him.
Oh.
COVID
Dipshit.
strong.
I mean, that could be
And
a
he's
woman.
watching the three of us together, no
Just
mask with the
talking
light on.
shit about
Our window's open, you
Buongiorno.
bastard. Our window is open.
Hey, dude,
Oh.
do you know where the word Bonjourno comes from?
Do you think I could cough across a building
Yeah.
alley?
What
Okay,
if I
so-
what if I just hit him with a poison dart?
So that would be, if you
So-
busted
so-
out a blowgun,
Yeah.
a blow dart gun, that would be the coolest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Yeah.
Excuse me for 1 second. You're just like,
You're
you're the coolest person on earth.
It's filled with
alas, I'm
COVID.
not that cool. So anyway, so we talked to these dudes about joining the French Foreign Legion.
Oh damn!
This is like 2 months after 9/11, dude. This is like it's almost.
You're really
Christmas
trying to
time.
impress these ladies.
And yeah, so we were like, let's fill out forms. There's this like general request shit. All this paperwork is like, there's paperwork to fill out to do anything, to breathe a certain way, to do whatever the case may be. And there's this catch-all form. It's like, if we didn't think of it in this dictionary-sized rule book, this is where you think to ask like go ahead and ask your fucking question.
Yeah.
And it was just a big blank space, and you could write in like whatever it was. It was just like a documented thing. And so I
Just
was
a
like,
chance for you to confess whatever.
right, yeah, basically. And so I just wrote, I was like, respectfully request to renounce my American citizenship to join the French Foreign Legion.
Is that a thing? You have to renounce your citizenship?
I don't know, but I was like,
That's what
Isn't
you
the
wrote
point that it's a foreign legion?
and I was like, and this is like where I'm still kind of a dipshit kid, because I'm 21 at the time or whatever, and I'm like, I think it's a fucking, one, I think it's pretty funny. Two, I'm like, how much do I really care about my family if I ever see them again? Because I like this chick in France, and I loved Orwell and Henry Miller and all these people who were like big into France and all that sort of
Yeah.
crap. So I was like, I already felt like I was like, this is like, I want to be an expatriate abroad.
Just smoking cigarettes in
Smoking
a cafe.
cigarettes and like having
Writing
her
your
pay
novel.
for stuff while I write, like all those pieces of shit. And so, anyways, so I hand it to my chief petty officer, the senior enlisted guy, and he looks at it, and he looks like Mike Ditka. He's like 6'4". We used to call him Chief. We call him Chief Sternberg. He looks at it. He reads it, and then he like slaps his fucking hand across his face. He's got a big fucking mustache. He goes, Humphrey, you must be the dumbest motherfucker to ever swing two balls between your fucking legs. He's like, I'm not even going to show this to the division officer, right? So the division officer walks in. Everybody's like laughing their ass off at me. He didn't even explain like what it was.
What it was,
The
yeah.
division officer walks in. They're like, everybody's like, what the fuck did you do? What'd you do? I was like, I was just like, I kind of like it here. I kind of like France, you guys. Like, they know, like, you know. So,
They respect me here.
well, yeah.
The women like
no-
me.
no wonder
I
you like
wasn't getting
France.
laid in America. So, like, here I am in France. Like, I'm already batting 1,000. So,
That was
like,
great, man.
so then everybody's laughing when the division officer walks in, and the chief is still just like yelling at him. He's like, "What's the fucking problem?" He goes, "Okay, read it." And he shows it to him, and the division officer like reads it. And the division officer is a young person, my age, but college educated.
Yeah.
Right, and so that makes them an officer. And they were always really cool with me because I had gone to some college, and I was always like with it, like, and I kind of knew the game and whatever. Like, I actually got like almost in trouble for fraternizing with the officers because like we were all around the same age, and we all like they went to like Ohio State or
Yeah.
Iowa or whatever, and it's like we were all like kind of bros, or the chicks were even cool too, like unless they went to like military academy, and then they were like real hardcore about that shit. Right. So anyways, so then he she reads it, and she was like, okay, I'm going to call the chief engineer down, which is like the next person, right?
Why?
Yeah. Because
Just
like,
to fuck with you?
oh yeah. And also like, I want somebody to read this shit. You know what I mean? So then the division officer goes to get the chief engineer of the boat's the highest enlisted highest officer position within the engineering department.
Okay.
I was a firefighter. We fell under engineering. I was also like on the engineering training team, all this sort of shit. I did a whole bunch of shit in the Navy. And so he comes down, he looks at it, and he was like, he's like, I'm gonna have to tear this up.
Because you're like a traitor, technically, right?
Right. It's just, and it's like
you're a traitor to
this
America.
Is December of 2001.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Like the ink is dry on the latest Incubus album. You know, it's like it's that.
What was it? Fungus Among Us at that point?
No, it was like it's the one
Science.
No, it was the one that was like really popular. It was like
I'm sad that we both knew
the good albums when they were still funky.
That's true. But this was like this had like I forget. It was one of the mountains on. It's probably Believe Yourself or whatever.
Was it?
Anyways.
Am I doing a good job describing it?
I have a whole other Incubus story. So anyway,
Pardon me. Right? Pardon me while I...
No, that's still wrong.
No?
So the chief engineer comes down.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to rip this up. And he takes it, and he takes it with him. Right? And then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to wait here to get in trouble or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he brings the executive officer down, which is second in command.
He's just going up they're just going
Oh
up the
yeah,
ladder.
because it's fucking funny, and I'm like starting to like sweat it now. And he's like gets in my face. He's like, and he was a tall guy. His name is Chip Rock. This is another not made up name, but his name is Chip.
Good
Rock.
Lord! And you expect to just continue with the story? Throwing
He's
these
from the
names
Rock
out?
region, Boris, and so.
So,
and so
France?
he's looking down at me.
Poland?
And he was like, he's just berating me or whatever. And he actually did take it and he tore it up. And he was like, you're lucky the captain's never going to fucking hear about this, right? So the next day, we have to do this thing where we have to clean all the hallways in the ship every day, right? And anytime the captain walks through a space, everybody has to yell attention on deck. If you're on the ground, whatever, you come pop to, you have to stand still or whatever until he says carry on.
Just like in the movies.
Just like in the movies, right? And so I'm cleaning over by the mess decks or whatever. I'm cleaning everything up. Somebody yells attention on deck. And now my captain at the time is a guy named JJ Costello, and he's like super fucking cool. He's like a guy that they should make a movie about where like if he kicked in the door right now and was like, we're going to war, Derek, I'd be like, I'm going with you. Because he's like the type of guy you want in the military. He was 100% about that life.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like a historian. He knew everything. He knew every fucking detail about everything. And he would fucking blow people's spot up if like they fucked up. Like if the chief engineer like fucked up or something like that, he would get on the 1MC and yell over it and be like, chief engineer, give me a new engineer because I just fired yours. And it's just like everybody like, damn, burn, you know? And so I'm sitting there cleaning, somebody else's attention on deck. We all pop to, and he comes walking through, and he used to wear like the mirror shades even inside.
Yeah.
He had a fucking cigar that he would like unlit or lit or whatever, and he would come walking by, and he was like chest high to me, right? And he was walking through, and he was in kind of a serious manner. He wasn't really saying anything, and then he just he gets to me, he stops, and he turns, and he looks up, and he's got the fucking mirrored shades, and he goes, French Foreign fucking Legion, huh, Humphrey? And I just kind of crack a smile, and I was like, yes, sir. And we were underway, so I'm like getting left behind or whatever. He goes, don't ever do something so fucking stupid again. And then he goes, carry on, and everybody just fucking goes back to what they were doing. And I am not in France. I'm not a defector. I never wanted to be a defector. I still believe in America, but I believe in pussy more.
You were just
well, that's literally all
of
of France's perspective.
you were under the spell. We've all done some crazy shit for some pussy though. That's
and it's
sure.
not true the smell thing about.
Well, no, listen, as somebody who's from Europe, it's not really exclusive to France, even just culturally. At least for a while, like while in America, people began like showering every day. As a thing, people don't really shower every day in a lot of Europe. Some of that may be changed, but like, I mean, I till this day I don't wear deodorant. I don't do it.
I noticed.
Oh, get out of here. You didn't notice.
Um,
I shower often enough. My brother tells me I stink all the time, but I think he's got a weird smell for it because nobody else says it. And I shower. I usually just shower after I work out, and then I'm good. But I started wearing deodorant like 5 years ago, I think. More than that. Probably
I tried
before I
that.
met my wife.
I tried that once in the Navy, and then I got yelled at for it. And I was like, I was trying to recreate France in my.
It varies with diet, honestly. It affects your stank.
Well, fucking A, on that note,
Take that as a lesson, y'all.
you know what? It's up to you. You live your life. You do your body the way you want to do your body.
Well, I'll
okay?
just say you could not do deodorant, but or do deodorant, but antiperspirant is not good for you.
You
I
know,
smell great.
I think we're starting to find our form.
Yeah.
As a podcast where like we get going, then we just equipment craps out, and then we'll get going again. That craps out, and then it gets going, and then we're like, we're gonna end this awkwardly with.
Well, let's end it before the equipment craps out again.
Yeah, that's true too. All right.
You wear deodorant if you want. Don't if you want. Shower
but
if you want.
don't do
if
the
you want.
antiperspirant. You really shouldn't.
You've been real.
Peace.
Peace.
Viva la France.
Bushwick Bears, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us. That has our individual shit. You can follow us individually or not. But anyways, we love you.
Don't nobody stink on Twitter.
I have plenty of people stink on Twitter.